Live now to Newport News. On the left side of your screen, you can see the cones are up along this part of Warwick Boulevard near Bland Boulevard. A new road project promises a smoother ride for drivers.
But so far, it's been a bumpy ride for business owners. Some of them tell 13 News Now the project is doing more harm than good. 13
News Now reporter Niko Clemmons took their concerns right to city leaders.
Business owners in Newport News are sick and tired.
This is killing us.
Sick and tired of road construction in front of their businesses. Construction crews are working to raise the road at Warwick and Bland Boulevards to reduce flooding. But business owners like David Coleman say they've had enough.
I paid for this.
Coleman is the owner of Viking Burger. He opened almost 4 years ago, but now he's worried about his future.
They can't turn here.
Coleman says construction and traffic are keeping people away from his business. His main concerns, the lane closure and these orange barrels, which he says blocked the entrance to his restaurant at one point. Coleman says he's lost about $5,000 in revenue since construction started. He shared his frustration on Facebook.
Every single one of my entrances were blocked. 1, 2, 3. How does that happen?
Jennifer Bacon at Flaky's Bakery and Cafe says there are no signs to warn drivers where the entrances are.
By the time they realize there's a secondary entrance, they bypass us.
In an email sent this week to the general manager of Viking Burger, the assistant director of engineering says that the city coordinated with the contractor to adjust the barrels, giving drivers easier access in and out of businesses. The city's also coordinating with the contractor to have his subcontractor finish the concrete work for the entrances along the northbound lanes first, so they can move the barrels as soon as possible. Coleman hopes that this project doesn't hurt him in the long run.
If they just would have warned us, we could have made preparations for this.
Now, this lane closure has been in place for the last 2 months. A city spokesperson says construction crews plan to lift the lane closure in 2 weeks. And the contractor sent letters to business owners last June letting them know about the start of construction. Construction started in July and is supposed to wrap up this November. In Newport News, I'm Niko Clemmons, 13 News Now.